Forgiveness can have nothing to do with the person who hurt you and everything to do with the life you want next. Today we will explore a simple, steady way to forgive drawn from Japanese practice and quiet Tao wisdom. We will keep this practical. No pressure and no moral high ground. Just clear steps you can try starting today. Before we go further, place this short line beneath the video. I choose release. That small public sentence quietly points your attention and nudges the body to follow. Most of us carry one of two burdens about forgiveness. Either we think forgiving means forgetting, or we think it means excusing. Both beliefs are heavy and both stop us from moving forward. You might hold on because the hurt proves something true about how the world treats you. Or you might hold on because letting go feels like losing power or admitting you were wrong. Sometimes you do not forgive because the wound is tied to your story. You may believe that holding it keeps you safe or keeps you right. Another part of the problem is that forgiveness is usually taught as a one-time moral act. Say the words and you are forgiven. But human life is not a single sentence. Feelings loop, memories flare up, and triggers return. The real challenge is not whether to forgive but how to create a steady way to release what weighs you down so you can live the next moment fully. At its clearest, forgiveness is a skill of shifting where you put your energy. The Japanese ways I will share are not about denial. They are about small acts that change the body's habit of holding. There is a simple Tao idea behind it: flow instead of force. We will keep the talk practical by focusing on how to change what you do so what you feel changes with it. Imagine a river that meets a rock. The river does not get angry at the rock. It adjusts its course. Over time the river reshapes the bank, and sometimes the rock itself changes. This image is not about right or wrong. It is about working with what is so your life moves without being stuck on the obstacle. That shift, seeing forgiveness as a practical redirection of energy, is the key. When you keep the shift in mind, forgiveness becomes an act you use to clear space for your future. It lets you stop replaying the past without pretending it did not happen. So what does that look like in your daily life? How do you move from holding a story to holding the present moment? Below are 3 practical exercises, each one simple, safe, and useful the very first time you try it. Exercise 1. The stone release. It is a physical symbolic act that uses a small object to carry a single hurt for a moment, then releases it. The stone helps the body do the letting go. How to do it today? Find a small object such as a stone, a coin, or any small thing you can hold in one hand. Sit down and close your eyes for a breath. Put the object in your palm. Name the hurt out loud in one short sentence. For example, I am carrying the anger from that argument, or I have been holding the shame from that betrayal. Say only one sentence and no explanation. Then take 3 slow breaths. On the third exhale, open your hand and set the object down or place it somewhere outside of your immediate reach. If you can set it outside, leave it there for an hour. Then return and pick it up. If you feel ready, put it away and do not bring it back into your pocket. Notice the small physical difference, the change in your chest, the way your shoulders shift, the looseness or the unexpected lightness. Notice any sadness that wants to come. Notice also any resistance, a tightness that says not yet. All of those are information. The stone gives your hands something to do, and that helps the mind follow. Exercise 2. The short letter and the fold. It is a brief, concrete communication that you write for yourself. It is not a letter to send. The act of writing and folding is a ritual to close a chapter. How to do it today? Take 5 to 10 minutes and use a single sheet of paper. Write one short paragraph beginning with, "This is what happened," and stay factual. Then write one sentence about how it made you feel. Do not argue with anyone in the letter and do not demand. Keep it honest and concise. When you finish, fold the paper carefully. If you know a simple origami fold, use that. If not, fold it into a small square like tucking a note into a pocket. Hold the folded paper in both hands and feel its edges. Speak a short sentence aloud to close it, like, "I have said it." Say a closing phrase such as, "I release this form." Place the folded paper in a closed jar or under a heavy book or in a place you will not look at for a week. Notice the relief that comes from naming. Notice whether a part of you feels freer or quieter. Also notice any urge to send the letter or to rewrite it. If that urge comes, acknowledge it and delay it by one day. The folding gives you a physical boundary. Notice the steadiness that follows. Exercise 3. The 5 breaths return. It is a micro-practice to reclaim energy when resentment or replay begins. You can do it anywhere. It restores presence, not denial. How to do it today? When a memory or a replay hits you, stop. Place one hand on your chest, the other on your belly. Take 5 slow, deliberate breaths. Inhale for 3 counts, pause 1, and exhale for 4. On the exhale, imagine your attention moving from the memory back into your body. After the 5th breath, place both feet on the floor and press down gently. Say a short phrase to anchor yourself, I am here now. Then take one small action, stand up, wash your hands, touch a wall, or take a sip of water. Keep the action simple and concrete. Notice the shift in clarity. Notice whether the memory loses its edge. Notice any small opening, a tiny choice that was closed before might now be open. This practice trains your nervous system to come back to the present moment instead of replaying the story on loop. These 3 exercises are small. They are not meant to erase deep trauma on their own, but they change a pattern. Repeat one of them each day for a week, and you will notice that your reactions soften. The mind still remembers, but the body no longer fuels the same flare. It is also important to name what forgiveness is not. It is not pretending nothing happened. It is not giving anyone permission to hurt you again. It is not removing consequences. The work of boundaries, safety, and justice remains separate. Forgiveness in this sense is the private internal clearing of the energy that keeps you trapped. If you are worried that forgiving means you are weak, remember that these practices are acts of courage. You are choosing to change where your power goes. You are deciding to use your life energy to build, not to armor. Let me speak plainly about resistance. You might try one of these exercises and feel worse for a while. That is normal. Old pain needs expression. The exercises give your body a safe way to move that pain rather than bottling it up. If the feeling becomes overwhelming, pause the exercises and seek support. Forgiveness work can be gentle, but sometimes it reveals deeper needs. That is okay. Now let me share a short story about a woman named Aiko. She is not famous. She lived in a small town and taught English part-time. She carried a quiet hurt for many years. She had been betrayed by a close friend a decade earlier. That betrayal rewired how she entered relationships. She became careful, then closed. With time, her life narrowed around that one wound. One winter, a small neighbor child accidentally broke an old ceramic bowl Aiko loved. The child apologized and tried to fix it with tape. Aiko felt an immediate familiar flash of anger. It surprised her how quickly the old wound rose up. In that moment, she realized 2 things. First, the hurt from the betrayal had been secretly shaping her reactions for years. Second, her small bowl, broken and taped, looked strangely like a life that had been patched, not lived. She tried the stone exercise for the first time. She held a pebble and named the feeling, I am still angry about being betrayed. She did the release by placing the pebble on the windowsill and leaving it there. Later, she wrote the short letter, folded it, and placed it in a jar. She did the 5-breath return when the memory surged. The turning point came not as a dramatic epiphany, but as a small change in a daily choice. One afternoon, she met the woman who had betrayed her years ago. They spoke awkwardly. Aiko felt the old story wanting to pull her back in. Instead, she breathed 5 times, placed her hand on her chest, and said, I am here now. She did not excuse the betrayal. She did not pretend it had not shaped her. But in that 5-breath pause, she chose to bring her focus to the present situation. She asked one simple question, what does this moment ask of me? The answer was to listen and to say what she needed clearly. The conversation was not reconciliation. It was a boundary and an end to repeating the old pattern in that interaction. Afterward, she noticed something. The bowl on her shelf no longer felt like evidence of what had been lost. It felt like a vessel with a visible crack. The crack did not need to be hidden. She began to let small things back into her life. Invitations, small risks, minor openings returned. Nothing dramatic. A different biography of daily choices began. There are 2 more practical points I want to offer before we close. The first is slow repetition. Forgiveness is a muscle. You do not train it once and expect it to hold under heavy load. The second is to pair the practice with repair when repair is needed. If you hurt someone, repair the harm. If you were harmed, seek repair where it is possible and safe. The inner forgiveness work does not replace accountability. If you feel stuck, a simple daily ritual can help. Each morning, take 1 minute and name one thing you do not want to drag through the day. Say it out loud in one sentence, then imagine placing it into a small bowl in your mind. Close the bowl and walk away. Do this for 7 mornings. Notice whether anything shifts. You might also find it helpful to create a small physical marker of progress. It can be a pebble in a jar. Each time you use one of the practices and feel a real change, move a pebble from one jar to another. The jars are not for show. They are feedback. They tell a story of movement. And remember, forgiveness is not about immediate peace. Sometimes the first real sign of movement is more energy or a sudden clarity or a moment of rage that ends more quickly. These practices are about training your nervous system to respond differently. That takes time. If any of this feels heavy, be gentle. You do not have to do all the exercises at once. Choose one, try it 3 times over a week and see what happens. Now a brief pause of permission. You are allowed to protect yourself. You are allowed to be angry. You are allowed to say no. The invitation here is to stop letting past harms live in your muscles. You can honor what happened and still decide how much space it occupies inside you. Before we finish, I want to offer one small framing sentence you can carry with you. It is not a slogan. It is a reminder to use in practice. Forgiveness is the act that frees my tomorrow. Say it quietly when you need to choose a response. Let it be a tool, not a rule. To close, let me summarize what matters most. Forgiveness in this approach is a practical choice. It is a way to redirect energy from replaying a past harm into building the life you have now. The exercises I shared, the stone release, the short letter with the fold, and the 5 breath return, are tools to make that choice happen in your body. Use them often and gently. Ask yourself what small thing you can release today that would open space for one more choice. If this video has been helpful, subscribe to the Sacred Art of Being for more gentle practices.